I'd like to dive into challenges with implementing an integrated OR. And along the way, maybe even say something about the objectives, right? How those two tie together.
Yeah, I think that the challenge is really for what I can see. I mean, I've been a big advocate of getting surgical workspaces, operating rooms or operating theaters, getting them connected to support servers, getting them to share information and share data. And I think that the demand is clearly there. I often hear from surgeons, is that really all it does still? Just puts routes video around the room. It's obviously very important that you can do that, and it's very important it does it very well. But I think the challenges are really from the user's perspective. It is in meeting the real digital needs of a modern digitized healthcare establishment. And my clients at the moment are really looking into that they want to expand on the connectivity in addition, and maybe they even can regret some of the decisions they made in the past with their architecture. Certainly I don't rub their nose in it, but it does come up quite often that actually, maybe we shouldn't have started at that point. But, the thing is that, the OR is a black hole still, really. It's disconnected. There are very many IT savvy surgeons now, very well versed in what technology can bring to their environment. And I think a lot of them are frustrated. They want to be able to share and collaborate in the cloud. They want to be able to remotely scrub in. They want to do preoperative planning with 3D organ modeling and share that with their colleagues. And I think that what's held it back is that the current backbone technologies that are often used are just simply not fit for purpose for that. They're good at getting AV around the room, but that's about it. And the other issue is that they're proprietary systems. There's a kind of a built-in vendor lock, and there's no public communication standard to exchange data often. And I think historically the contributing factor for that is that these were really pioneered by endoscopic companies, and they were great at producing ergonomic workspaces, but their focus was on promoting endoscopic equipment and consumables and things like that. And they were made with big kind of monolithic third-party integration systems and a huge IT rack. And it was private control software. It was very centralized, single point of control, or maybe two. But the global reach of the theater itself was minimal. I mean, it may just go to a local classroom, or it may connect to a video conferencing telecommunications link. And to be honest, it's sort of, so when I'm talking to my clients, it reminds me of a joke, really. When I was on holiday in Ireland, and I got completely lost, and I pulled the car over and I spoke to a local, and I said, "Can you tell me the way to Clonakilty?" And he said, "Well, I wouldn't start from here." So not particularly helpful, but it's really is the point. I think that we're looking at taking a step back, really, and saying, well, that was great what integrated theatres did at that time, with very much the focus being the AV solution. But I think we have to look forward now, and that's done. We've done that. We can do that. And SWE is also great at that. But what else does it bring? That's really the critical thing. And the Internet of Things and interoperation with the outside world is a little bit outside the comfort zone of many suppliers, many providers of integrated theatres. It's outside the vision of product managers. I mean, again, they have an AV background. AV technologies are limited, and they're also uncontrolled and unregulated. We speak about the wild west of ProAV. I mean, 8 or 9 different common formats which don't communicate or can't communicate with each other. And I think our IT savvy customers require services way beyond that. So, and really underlying all of that is that if we look at all technologies, they're all converging on IT. Even the fridge now in the corner of your kitchen can have an Ethernet port to hook up to your, whatever data systems it finds beneficial. I don't know quite what, but there we go. That's everything is really connected. So So yeah, I mean, they're the challenges, I think, is to really start meeting the kind of connectivity demands.
Yeah, I think also, you know, the challenge when you talk about IP distribution, obviously moving away from dedicated matrix switch style systems, which aren't as flexible and scalable. The nice thing about those systems is they handle full bandwidth video. There's no compromising in switching time, in image quality. They try and maintain what goes in as what goes out. And when you talk about IP systems, yes, you can mirror that functionality. But if it's something that's living on, you know, a fairly generic IT network, then it's not going to be able to provide the level of quality and switching and latency that you would get with a matrix switch. And that's where SDV comes in. That's where our performance value really shines, is we can provide that matrix switch-like performance using standard network infrastructure. And again, once you're on the network, it opens up way more possibilities for distribution, for archiving, and all the things you've pointed to, Colin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.